I want to go a bit deeper into a video that I posted earlier this week because it has caused a bit of a ripple effect and people are really interested to find out more on how to avoid getting into toxic relationships. Now, the message that I was talking about was that when people show you who they are, believe them. Now, that has so many different sides to it, doesn't it? But yeah, I had a client recently whose husband had left her and it turns out he's gay. But she said it hit her like completely out of the blue. She had no idea it was coming and it was a real shock to her. And it was really interesting because when we went back through it, there were so many signs, not necessarily that he was gay, but that he was hiding something, that there was a lot of deceit. There were secrets in their marriage. Like, for example, he had a child who lived in a different country and she'd never met the child, even though the child was 10. So he sort of kept that separate to her. There are other things about not disclosing financial information. She had no idea about the finances. And when she wanted to talk about them, he refused or he found excuses. And as we went back through the history, then we saw that there were lots of different things that had come up that were signs that there were secrets. There were signs that he was able to be deceitful, that he was able to cover his tracks, and that he wasn't being completely transparent with her and sharing sort of all information. So when we look back, there were warning signs that something wasn't right, and she ignored them, which is really, really common because we want it to be true. When we're in love, we have that whole, well, I can fix it, I can help you, we can do this together, we can overcome anything together. Or when someone says, as someone said to another client of mine recently on the first date, told her that he was selfish, she minimized this straight away. She said, oh, he's just being hard on himself. Oh, he's an honest guy. He's saying, sometimes he can be a bit selfish, but, that he's being hard on himself. He seems nice to me. He's being nice to me now. And when I say he, this is a particular example, but, it works both ways. I have had men in my clinic this week who have been in very toxic relationships too, with very selfish people, with very abusive behaviours. So, but, a lot of the time, and when we look back at all these relationships, there are signs. There's signs probably from the first week, the first month, that we minimize, that we ignore, that we say, oh, okay, well, they were having a bad week, or we explain it away, even though they are showing us who they are. Now, I guess, we want them to be something because in our mind, we want the fairy tale ending, we're falling in love, especially in the beginning, it's the honeymoon period, you want everything to be right, and you just put on those rose-tinted glasses and you ignore all those other signs. And that is quite normal. But then when I see clients who say, Sarah, I'm just going to never date again, I never want to get in a relationship with another guy ever again, I understand why that is. Because obviously that feeling of hurt, the feeling of betrayal, the feeling of not knowing someone that you completely trusted and maybe they were abusive in some way or maybe just unkind. But that feeling of betrayal and being a bit of an idiot, is hard to shift. I mean, there's lots of techniques that I use to help you shift those and move through that quickly. But, they are tough to shift. There's no magic wand to take that pain away. So obviously people are very nervous about dating again and sometimes make the decision just never to date again. And, the thing is, there are warning signs. And if you understand that consciously, because a lot of our behavior is unconscious. So what I mean by that is we don't know we're doing it. We just minimize, ignore, strap on the rose-tinted glasses so that we only see the good. And then if there is any bad, we minimize it and say, oh, well, I can help, I can fix it. Because that's what love is, right? You work together as a team and you overcome problems like that. But actually, when you're dealing with someone who continuously shows you these signs, maybe they've lied and you've caught them out. Maybe they say they're somewhere and they're not that place. Maybe, your instinct is screaming at you and you overrule it with your brain power and logic. Now, in every relationship, there's ups and downs and, I'm not talking about your average loving, kind relationship. I'm talking about when your instinct is screaming and the red light siren is going, but every time it goes off, you quash it. Every time it goes off, you rationalize it in your brain. Or, oh, well, this happened to her when she was younger, therefore this is why it's happening. Or this happened to him, or he's having a bad day, or, You know, abuse isn't having a bad day and coming home and taking it out on your partner. Abuse is consistent, persistent abuse, confusion, sort of making you feel you're going crazy. Now, there are signs, you know, and a lot of my clients say to me, well, I didn't see it coming. You know, and I believe that they didn't see it coming because they didn't want to see it coming. But actually, when you go back and you unpeel it, there are a lot of signs that they have quashed or rationalised. And so I guess the message is, when people show you who they are, because they will show you, they will tell you, there will be signs, like this client whose husband is gay. There were signs that there was a deception, that there were secrets in his life, that there were things in his past he didn't want her to know about. There were signs, and looking back, obviously with hindsight, is a beautiful thing. But what I'm saying is, if you've been in that situation, in order to move forward, this is a fantastic lesson to learn, because it can dial down your anxiety about meeting someone else and moving forward, because you just have to pay attention to the signs. You just have to believe them when they show you who they are, because they will show you who they are. So I hope that makes sense, and thank you for your questions and emails this week. It's been really interesting to see that this is a topic that resonates so much with so many of you. Do comment below on the video if you've got any other questions, because I will, if you give me a topic, I will talk about it on here and try and give you as much advice and help as I can. But yeah, it's always good to hear what you think about the videos and to share your own experiences. If you've been in this situation, please, please, please share below, because your sharing helps other people. Because I can tell you right now, there are so many people out there emailing me and contacting me on social media who feel that they are the only person in the world going through this, and there's no one else there going through it. And you're not. I promise you, you're not alone. And my hope is that these videos and your comments below, and there are some of you who do share, and that really means the world to me, because it does help other people know that they're not alone. And we all make mistakes. You know, I've been there too in relationships where you haven't spotted the signs and you haven't believed them when they've shown them, when they've shown you without a doubt who they are, and you choose not to see it. So, you know, we're all in this together. We all make the same mistakes, but the important thing is we learn from it, we put it behind us, and we move forward empowered by these learnings, consciously aware now, not unconsciously, but consciously aware of the patterns we run, so that we don't do it again. And we'll catch ourselves doing it again in the future if it happens. But, you know, it should dial down your anxiety about meeting new people and having new relationships if you're consciously aware of the mistakes you've made. And, you know, that doesn't mean it's your fault. We all make mistakes, and it's part of learning. It's part of life. It's all a journey when we figure out what's going on. But in order to be able to be happy again and meet someone else and have another loving relationship, if you can consciously be aware of spotting the signs, trusting your instincts, and not quashing them with using your brain to sort of dial it down, it will make a huge difference, and it will open up so many more possibilities to you as well. So, big kisses, have a lovely day, and see you soon.